Thank you for joining me here at the Real ResQ podcast, powered by Vertical Helicast. If you have not done it already, go check out verticalhelicast.com and check out not only this podcast, but Hangar Z, the Helicopter Podcast, and Vertical MRO Podcast. They're all there, every one of them, and they are amazing. So when you get a chance, please go check them out. Now I'd like to say thank you to the sponsors for this episode, and that's Breeze Eastern, the world's only dedicated helicopter hoist and winch provider. Check them out at breeze-eastern.com. AXNES, their mission, wireless intercom. Check them out today at axnes.com. Precision Aviation Group, their precision is the key to your performance. Check them out today at precisionaviationgroup.com. Now, coming up next in this ASTerisk episode, I am humbled and honored to have our next guest join us again for even more detail about the beginning of the United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer Program. They come on to answer just a few more questions as a group while we were live at DECERT 2024 down in Alabama. It was an absolute pleasure having these guys on. First time I had a couple swimmers in the background, and we all had some good laughs and just some great conversation. So please welcome back to this podcast, Rescue Swimmer number 1, Steve Ober. Rescue Swimmer number 2, Kelly Gordon. Rescue Swimmer number 3, Rick Woolford. Rescue Swimmer number 5, Butch Flythe. And Rescue Swimmer number 6, Mr. Larry Farmer. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ podcast. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me here at the Real ResQ podcast. This is live at DECERT 2024. We are in Gulf Shores, Alabama. I've got most of the first 6 rescue swimmers with me ever. Recap of you guys. So we have Steve Ober, rescue swimmer number 1, episode 73. All your stories were told there. It was amazing. Rescue swimmer number 2, Mr. Kelly Gordon. He was episode 184. Amazing stories. Thank you. And yes, we are definitely getting an old fashioned today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then we got number 3, Rick Woolford. He was episode number 178. Freaking awesome. Went pilot and yeah. Okay. You're still in the club. It's cool. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Did anybody else go pilot here or is it just you?
I'm the only one.
The only one.
No, the rest we're okay.
We stayed. We did. Okay. You know, anybody can be a pilot. Not anybody can be a swimmer.
Yeah.
That's why we're all swimmers.
I was going to say something, but it'd be inappropriate online.
It's totally appropriate.
Okay.
You got to get a little closer.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this man has no balls.
And here we go.
And with that one, rescue swimmer number 5, Mr. Butch Flythe. Yeah. Episode 37. You were my first of you guys that came on.
37. That's when Jesus was a midshipman, right?
Well, that was the beginning of the podcast, and he was like, okay, I'll do it.
Don't start on me, bro. I got a quill full right back here.
So, to my left right here, I've got rescue swimmer number 6, the godfather of us. He was a Master Chief when he went through episode 186, Mr. Larry Farmer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Glad to be here.
So the only one we're missing right now is Matthew Paul Fithian, and it's just miscommunication. So I'm going to throw that out there to him right now. Matt, we're missing you, but that's okay.
Miss you, Matt. Bye.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens. It's all good. But you know what, guys? Hey, thank you guys so much for coming on and joining me here. This is like a true honor and pleasure to have you guys on. In the background, we got a couple people. I got Kurt Revels. What's up? 243. I got Al Shannon. What's up? I got Jimmy Farmer. What's up? All right. I got Laura, and I got, I don't know. What is it?
Wilma.
I got Wilma. Sorry, Wilma.
Mrs. number 2.
Mrs. number 2. Huh? Right on. I know you guys are in the background, so I appreciate you guys being here as well and let me do this, especially Laura, who had a wonderful night last night. Came in late. What's up? Oh, that is on the podcast. I want you to know that. But here, with you guys, what I want to do here is I want to touch on a couple things, because you guys not only built the program from what it was and to what it is, it's everything in between. And I've got a couple questions here that I want to run through. So the first thing is I want to touch on the recap of the Marine Electric, right? We all know that story. The Marine Electric happened. 22 people lives were lost, and they were using a Navy rescue swimmer. A Coast Guard helicopter went out to respond to this. Congress came back and says, Coast Guard, why don't you guys have this? And they said, no, you're gonna make this happen, which is the phone call to Larry Farmer saying, hey, you want to do this program, which you talked about in your episode? And you were like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, which I failed to mention in my 4-hour episode with you.
That's how the program
I know.
started.
But
I loved every bit of it too, by the way.
Whose fault was that, Larry?
Yeah, I know. Anyway, yes, and what I failed to mention is, and this is an interesting point, is the rescue swimmer that the Coast Guard picked up, Jimmy McCann. When I got to Pensacola in April 1985, there he was, one of my instructors. And,
Really?
Yeah.
He was Steve and I's instructor too. I told you about
Oh,
night
that's
podcast.
right. You did mention that.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
And over the years, when I worked for Henderson Wetsuit Company, he got into he worked in a dive shop somewhere in Florida. But I used to see him every year at the Dive Equipment Manufacturers Show. So we kept in touch over the years for for probably 20, 25 years after I graduated Navy Rescue Swimmer School. It was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys had the swimmer that was on the Marine Electric rescue as your instructors.
That is correct. Yes.
So he knew exactly what you guys were going to get yourselves into. He's like, oh, it's game on. No wonder he gave you a hard time.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, so the first question I have for you guys is, again, we all know where the Rescue Swimmer Program started from, but what was going on prior to the Rescue Swimmer Program? Now, I know you guys were going out and still doing rescues. Like the Coast Guard was still called to go to do rescues, and Matt Fithian came on and said, he had been hoisted down to a boat for a medevac. You guys had mentioned that you had done a platform pickup, and there were other basket rescues. You guys were flight mechanics, so you were all hoist operators. So what I'm looking for is tell everybody like what it was like in the Coast Guard before that even happened for you guys. Larry, go ahead.
Oh, well, what comes to mind is we used to actually, on training flights, when we would do water training flights, we would practice scooping with a basket. I mean, that's a situation we were in. So you got to be, or tried to be, very proficient with using a basket in the water. So at times we would throw floatable objects in the water, and then we would back off and then do an approach with a helicopter, put the basket down and dangle it and actually try to scoop it as if we were scooping a survivor, because we had no procedure where we put somebody in the water. If we got on scene to a case that was that bad of a situation, avionicsman was going to get wet.
Really?
Yeah. So that's just the way we did things.
Oh.
Basically, you had 2 survivors in the water after the avionics.
Right. Exactly.
So you guys would send a guy down, like if it was really bad, the avionics man, no gear?
Yeah,
Like flight suit boots?
basically 9 times out of 10, if we had to do that, it was never a situation where you put him in the water and let him perform a rescue. You would let him sit in the basket and dangle him or put him in on top of a victim or survivor, and then he would grab that person and then like pull him across his legs, and then you'd hoist him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever do that? Like real life?
I did.
Did
Yeah.
you really?
Yeah, on occasion.
Oh yeah. Thanks for telling me that on the first podcast.
Well, geez. I've had a long life, man. I can't remember all that stuff.
He's had a long and distinguished career.
Yeah, our claim to fame, I was in San Diego, and so this is 1980, but we were doing platform pickups. So I was in San Diego, and platform pickups was our name thing. We would platform pick up everywhere, whether it was bales of contraband or, we go and pick up people. we did a lot of drug enforcement picking stuff up, because they'd be jettisoning off the coast coming off of Mexico. And same thing, Larry said. I mean, the avionics Missouri, they were more excited. I'd say we had a corpsman because we usually would take a corpsman, and so that would be the person in the back, and all of a sudden we'd be telling them, "Hey, man, if this comes up, it's you." Yeah, so I don't ever remember like doing drills trying to pick stuff up in the basket. I'm sure we did. That doesn't recall. I spend more time, worrying about we're landing on the water and some pretty good seas where you wouldn't do it now. That's for sure.
Wow.
Water's coming over the platform pickup. Everybody's getting wet. You got green water coming into the cabin.
Not
my
to mention,
gosh.
we don't have amphibious helicopters anymore either.
Oh no, yeah, not at all. So, but
Well,
yeah,
as we talked about, those helicopters can land one time in the water.
yeah.
Do one platform pickup.
Just one.
But I remember probably the worst part was when you come back, it'd be like 5 hours cleaning the bloody airplane because you're trying to get all the salt water out and all the nooks and crannies in an H3 back in the back. Avion, oh my God, what a mess, right? But anyways, yeah.
Wow. What about you? Ed, what was it like for you prior to?
Well, like I said, I didn't have a really exciting career aside from the numerous crashes or fuel leaks on my birds. But it was just routine. Platform pickups was a big thing because it was an amphibious helicopter and basket hoists.
Right, Butch?
Yeah, I would go with the platform pickup. We did a lot of those in
He said
Clearwater.
Butch, man.
I thought you were going to say Rick first. So yeah, we did platform pickups, and we would scoop, like Steve was saying, we would scoop the contraband a lot in the Bahamas because I was on that mission, the OPBAT mission. So we would scoop things in the basket like that.
You can't. No, do not turn him down. That's no. That's not authorized. That's
The colors get Butch excited.
Party
He's
foul.
pretty,
Well, after I was so rudely interrupted, actually, I was the junior weenie out of all these guys because I came straight out of A school, and I was getting qualified in the C-130 first, and then the EO called me in and said, "Hey, we got this school that we want you to go to. It's a swimmer school, it's rescue," and he kind of gave me a general idea, and I said, "Well, sure." I took lifeguarding in high school. I'd do it. And then first day I showed up and I went, "Wow, this ain't Red Cross training here." It's kind of rough.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
mine was baptism by fire. Here you
So
go.
Butch, were you an EMT as well before you went to swimmer school?
I was an Army medic in the Army Reserves before, so I did 3 years in the Army Reserves before I came in here. So I was a medic, and so all my rescues prior to that were guys in the field coming in going, "Hey, man, I need to get out of the field. I got a growth. I got a this, that, or the other. I need to go see the doctor." I go, "Dude, let me see it." And they'd be like, "Nah, never mind." People always trying to get out of the field. So they would come to the medic track. We were a mechanized infantry unit, and I'd be sitting in the track going, "What's your problem, bro?" And, that's kind of the way I started. But then a friend of mine talked me into joining the Coast Guard, and then like I said, I just kind of Forrest Gumped it. I kind of fell into it.
Yeah, when they were looking for the first swimmers, that was one of the criteria. It was kind of a, I don't know, maybe a short list. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to ask, were people,
Yeah, well,
was
it was-
everybody
they
an
wanted-
EMT?
Well,
they went
I
to
was,
school?
Matt was. Were you?
Oh,
you
yeah,
were.
yeah.
So 3 of us were EMTs before the swimmer program, but that was on the solicitation. Are you an EMT? Are you a WSI? That was 2 of the things that were on there.
Oh,
And
maybe that's why,
remind me,
maybe that's why
WSI
we got in.
Yeah. WSI was water
safety
instructor. Okay.
And
That
I
is
wasn't-
Red Cross training.
Yeah, I wasn't a WSI, but I went and got lifeguard trained just because I thought it might be helpful.
Yeah, I bet that was helpful,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
It
That's
was.
why. That's why they went to the original group of us that went to the NAUSP training.
Yeah.
It's because we had all those credentials and the pedigree they were looking for, and Steve and I were part of that Tiger Team group that was going to do the UER training.
Oh yeah. I remember you talking about that.
And that's how we got to be the first 2 to go. And then they started soliciting the rest of the ASMs at the time.
Actually, I almost didn't go in the original 5 because Bob Ayers was going to go, and his wife went into labor.
Oh,
And so they called me in and said, "Hey, you want to go?" I'm like, "Sure, I'll go." Yeah.
nice.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that either.
yeah.
Huh. All right, so let me bring up to the next question, which is going to be: did you guys realize what you were going to be actually going through
No.
rescue swimmer school?
Not me.
No.
Well, you might have.
Yeah. That's because he waited.
You know what? I thought I did. because I was constantly contacting these guys, right?
Yeah.
Because they went in '84, and I couldn't get a class until April of '85. Was going to be transferred to Elizabeth City in June, so I figured I got a handle on it. But what I learned a number of years later, that these third, second, and first class petty officers are going, our future master chief is going to swimmer school. Don't tell him anything.
Did you guys really not tell him anything, or did you give him?
Yeah,
Like,
you know.
yeah, I don't remember.
We're like, he's gonna die. He's not gonna make it.
Okay, I was the one guy going, oh, this is BS. He's a master chief. He's not doing it the same.
They're not gonna treat him the same
Right.
as they did us.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear, because I knew going in that everybody that was associated with us was, we're sending a 36-year-old master chief to Navy Rescue Swimmer School. He's going to sit in the bleachers for 4 weeks. And I'm thinking, no, if we do that, the program will never get off the ground. So I was truly trying to get in some form of physical shape and prodding these guys for information. And they were going, hey, you do 100 sit-ups, you'll be all right. Nah, don't worry about it. Can you do 50 push-ups? Yeah, you'll be all right. Yeah,
It
back.
sounds like you're getting set up for full success.
Yeah. 4 pull-ups? Yeah, you're good. Well, I wasn't good.
You just had to listen to the right music. What were we listening to in the locker room? Remember you brought your boombox in?
I don't remember that.
Oh, my God.
Was
Anyways.
it Barry Manilow?
Like Barracuda. Like, what was it? Ooh, Barracuda.
Was it Michael Jackson? Beat It.
No, yeah, right. Could have been. I'll come up
That
with
was
it
the
before the end
instructor
of the thing.
prior
I'll
to come,
remember the
like, you
song.
guys coming to the grinder, beat it.
Yeah.
You just came on.
I wish Metallica had been around back then. That'd have
yeah.
been perfect for
Right?
the locker room.
Oh yeah.
That's what's going to be on my headset today as I do
Oh,
like
yeah.
our workout for the boys. Yeah.
Or some Disturbed. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, that was really good. Oh my gosh, I love it. So is there anything else that did you guys realize, like when you got into it and even after school, did you realize what you were actually going to be doing with the rescue swimmer program? Go ahead, Butch.
And forgive me, Matt, but you're not here, so we're going to rag on you. Matt was 2 weeks ahead of me in school.
Yeah.
And the first thing I heard the first morning there was a very large black instructor named Petty Officer Mitchell, who had a voice that could carry across this bay and 2 miles inland.
He was like a Baptist preacher.
all I would hear was, and I'm like, oh crap! And we're in that underground classroom with the windows at the ground level. And I see Matt's face just going, you know. And then he'd come to my room at night and he goes, "They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us. They don't like us here. They don't like us. They're going to kill you. Just so you know. Don't quit. But don't quit." I'm like, okay, all right, whatever.
I think for Kelly, maybe Kelly had an idea, but when I got there, nobody gave any of it justice. You know, I showed up I was chubby. I could swim, but I have to run how far? We have to, pardon me? My first 2 weeks were hands down brutal. Lost a lot of weight. I remember Kelly and other classmates coming to get me going, you just got to go eat. You got to get up and go eat. No, I'm going to lay right here. I'm fine. And then, somehow got through it. But I mean, I absolutely had no idea. And it was a definite WTF going,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure.
And then Kelly and I mean, in all honesty, we had probably one of the greater pressures because we were the first guys there.
Yeah.
It's all great when you finish. They remember you too when you don't. You know?
Oh yeah.
You know,
I mean,
so
I told you, I hurt my ankle and had to do that 800-meter buddy tow with it basically wrapped with tape. And Steve said, "Kelly, we can't fail. You got to push through. We can't fail." And
If it makes you feel any better, just to throw this out there, that was kind of on our class as well. And I'm 500 students later.
yeah,
With this man as my instructor, it was do not quit. You don't you got a cyst on your little foot? Oh, that's fine. You're fine. Work it out. Oh, you got a little tweaked knee? Yeah, you're fine.
Suck it
Let's
up,
go.
Buttercup.
Let's go.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Do you need to go to medical? No, you don't. Then do it on the lab.
But the part you don't realize,
yeah.
believe it or not, is we'd already gotten orders to PCS. So it wasn't any turning back. So we're at school. We know we're transferring.
We're going to Elizabeth City.
That's already going. That was part of the equation.
Yeah.
Right? So they re-enlisted you for 6 years because they're like, well, if this doesn't work out, we're going to get them for all we can. Right? All those things had to happen beforehand. So there was no going back.
Oh yeah, you had no choice.
I mean,
There was no plan B. There was no second option.
There truly wasn't. You know, the best hope, if it happened, is you got rolled back, and that gave you another opportunity. But you didn't want to be that guy either, right?
the Navy got into messing with the Coast Guard later on, and I'm talking in the 50s and 60s. Our swimmers numbers in the 50s and 60s as they started to roll, and I'm not going to mention any names, but they had a guy quit because it was a lot of mind game things.
Oh, okay.
But had one of our guys DOR because they couldn't get him to identify which one of his fins was left and right.
Oh my good Lord.
I mean, you know, that's where they got for a while.
Wow.
So,
I mean, I thought it was bad enough they called you guys mud ducks, which is kind of
And
funny
you told
to me, by the way.
you remember
That was the good name.
The story?
Okay, that's the good name.
The prototype fin story I told you? You
Yeah.
remember that? Oh, yeah, we have these prototype fins for you guys. I'm like, oh, yeah. I have to admit, I was a little gullible. I was excited. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. We get a prototype fins.
and that was
They come out with those rocket fins carved up and painted orange. Look like duck feet. I'm like, okay.
they would yell obscenities to me, and that was the only time that I showed my rank down there. You know.
Oh yeah.
They'd yell mud duck, and I'd say, "That's Master Chief Mud Duck."
Kelly and I didn't get that luxury.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah, I was a third. I was pretty much. I'll just stay in the back here. You guys go ahead.
I will say one thing we didn't know. I had already been to a couple of Navy schools. I've been to Navy dive school, and the people that went to Navy dive school were selected from the fleet, you know, for at different levels, different ages, and, you know, they showed up and you made it through Navy dive school. Then I had been through a Navy A school, of course. So the Navy Rescue Swimmer School was a little bit different in the fact that I didn't realize that these young kids went through air crew training school before they were selected for SAR school.
Yeah.
So they had already been swimming and running for what, a month?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
wow.
And they're younger,
Yeah.
and they're like in shape. And these are the guys that can swim well. That's why they were selected for SAR school. So, you know, we were just grabbing guys out of the fleet for the most part.
Yeah.
I remember in the early days, you know, we were tracking the progress of the people through the swimmer school. We were having shin splint problems, kidney failure problems, different things. And we were trying to give the guys a heads up, like, you got to be ready for this. You know, we said, go do this many of this many of that, you know, to be ready. And it's going to be brutal. But we just had a lot of physical problems. And
We
then
didn't get that brief.
Yeah, and you know, that's the beauty of the difference now than back then, because it's morphed. The instructors at the A school now are so in tune with physical training and core training and keeping your structure, you know, intact, as opposed to us. Well, you know, 50's good, 100's better. Will not necessarily show after two shoulder operations. It's like, you know, yeah, sometimes training harder is not smarter. You know, but they've really got it to a science now where I used to watch them out there on the A school. I was like, I'm glad I went to the Navy. These guys would have killed me.
Yeah, but I mean,
The
Kelly
guys
remembers
coming
too.
up today are like insane. They're beasts. They're
beasts. Yeah.
CrossFit and ultra marathoners, and just they
Yeah.
are strong. Every one of them. It's impressive.
Well, I also think PR kind of helped that too, public relations, because, you know, most people didn't know about rescue swimmers back in the day. Like, who's the dude in the wetsuit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a swimmer. You know, the most hated person on the crew. Yeah, go ahead and come on board, bring your gear, but I'm not going to use you. And you'd go off and look at the pilot and go, what's up?
We're going to get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Breeze Eastern. For over 80 years, Breeze Eastern has designed and manufactured battle-proven aerial rescue hoists, winches, and cargo hooks. Each product is carefully crafted to support demanding mission scenarios, ensuring the job gets done safely and efficiently. Visit them today at www.breeze-eastern.com.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let me bring up the next question then. And like, after you guys got out of swimmer school and you started getting to units and whatnot, what surprised you the most after you became a rescue swimmer?
That.
What, that nobody wanted to use
The
it?
resistance.
The resistance. the
Nobody liked us.
The
Yeah.
animosity.
Even between the ASMs that hadn't gone to school and us, because they were under the gun.
Yeah.
Because they said, hey, you got to be a swimmer by 1991.
You gotta
or
be a
90?
chief.
Was it 90 or 91?
You have to make chief or be a swimmer.
1990,
90, yeah. And you had to either make chief or go to swimmer school.
July 1st.
Let me back
1990.
that up though. If it wasn't for Larry or whoever made that decision,
Yeah.
we were all qualified also in other aircraft.
Right.
And that made, if there was any difference, that made it. So if we were
Yeah.
good at what we did, we were a good flight mech, we were on the stand boards already doing those things, that gave us credibility with the other people. We're out there washing the airframes, doing fuel samples, whatever. I think that made a difference. And if you were multi-aircraft, for example, Kelly was, I guess everybody was. I was a loadmaster, drop master, Falcon, air crewman, H3, flight mech, and you did rescue swimmer. Now, we had no shortage of hours.
Yeah, right.
But I think that made all the difference too, because they'd see us out there working on the airframe, and then 20 minutes later, we're running off, grabbing all this junk, jumping in the taxi to go offshore.
Yeah.
So I personally think that made it, if it was easier, that was it. That
And-
made
Well,
it.
the enlisted guys took us to us better than the pilots mainly were the ones that were most of the resistance to say, I'm not going to use you. I don't believe in that. I'm not going to use
Only
you.
some though, because
Some of the enlisted were. There were some of the
Sims and Dave Gunderson and all those guys. They were
Yeah.
all over going.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I'm not leaving. Where are they?
Yeah.
Right, and then you had the other guys going, "Oh, run! Come on, Forrest, you can catch us."
You know, as you guys talk about it, it actually surprises me too, like how much you guys were, I don't want to say hated, but not well received. Like not, I mean, it was mandated. Yeah, okay, we got to do this. And I mean, I think we've all been in a position at one point or another where maybe the chief looks at you and says, you need to go do this because I said so. And you're like, oh, fine, whatever. Not that I would ever have done that, right, Kurt? Yeah, okay, just checking. But for you guys, the same thing. You've got an entire Coast Guard, an entire aviation that's like, they're telling you this is what's going to happen. They're like, whatever. To hear that was the biggest resistance.
And I will say this: I don't think it was just animosity towards us. I think it was, especially for a pilot, because one explained it to me one time. Says throwing someone out of my aircraft is absolutely foreign to me, and it scares me to death because I don't know if I'm going to get you back. And I go, well, sir, I'm trained to come back, so don't worry. Just if you get me close, I'll get back in that depth. I'll get back on that cable. Just get close.
Wow, wild. You know what else surprises me as well is, and now when you guys mentioned that, is even to my generation around the 500s, like you still had the much older warrant officers, the older officers that really just, I mean, man, it was, I don't like swimmers. And I remember showing up to one of my units and they're like, yeah, you're a swimmer. Okay. I don't really like swimmers, but you know what? I'll put up with you. I'm like, really? Like that's how I meet
Jason,
my,
you think about it. These guys go to work in the morning.
yeah.
They got to put their coveralls on or whatever. Go out, turn wrenches, get all sweaty and stuff. And they're looking over there and there's all the SMs in their gym gear and doing PT and going for a jog and going for a swim.
Yeah.
I think there was an element of jealousy from
Yeah.
some of these guys too.
I
And
think
that's
Kelly
where
hit
it's
it on the
coming
head.
from.
It was a constant jab too. Even when I would go flying in Elizabeth City,
Yeah.
they had a master chief in maintenance control. Of course, he was the only one to get away with doing that to me. And I'd go into maintenance control to check the sheets for my flight or whatever. He'd yell, "Attention on deck! Head golden retriever in the building."
Oh my God.
Well, you are kind of furry.
Well, I used to be.
Dang, man. Right on. All right. So this brings me to my next question. What kept you guys motivated to like push on and move forward? Would that be Larry Farmer?
Yes.
No, I mean, yeah, I'll be honest with you. He was the champion, and he kind of kept us in line, kept us motivated. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. You know, there's two different types of Coast Guard. I don't know if you've heard. There's the U.S. Coast Guard, and then there's LFCG,
Nope.
Larry Farmer's Coast Guard.
Oh,
Okay. I actually had a shirt. I was a member of the LFCG.
Oh, we're going way back now.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hugh O'Doherty had some shirts made.
But and you know what? And I look back at all the crap that he had to take from COs that were resistance. I mean, didn't you walk into one? You went into one area. Was it San Fran where he said, "I'm not implementing this program," and said, "I was captain. This ain't a request."
Yeah.
Wow.
I had that. I had that a couple of times, and you know, we would go in for the we'd go in for the pre-brief. We'd show up, and we were there for the end of the week usually, and the age 65 units specifically in the beginning were terribly resistant. You know, we didn't build this brand new helicopter to put gallons and gallons of salt water in it. You know, 3 or 4 times a day. So we're really skeptical about this. So my job turned out to be easy. It wasn't easy at the time, but fortunately, I mean, I got 2 of these guys that worked directly with me on the stand team in the beginning. And I relied on them heavily because being a Master Chief at the time, I was the most senior ASM in the rating. Of course, there's only 2 billets at the time, but I was the most senior enlisted within our rating. So I always knew going in, we visited these units, that my communication was usually going to be short and sweet. And all I was going to get back was, "Yes, Master Chief, yes, Master Chief," right?
Yeah.
So I saved my arguing behind closed doors with the seniors in at the command level. And if I recognized any problems that, say, the swimmers were having, then I would let these guys, you know, I let them do the dirty work, because, so, you know, certainly a first class can communicate better to a fellow first class or second class than I could. So I was fortunate to have the people that I had available at the time to be able to work with, and they're the ones that really implemented this program
Yeah.
and formed the foundation.
That's all. I think it's amazing. I truly do. I mean, you guys had so much resistance, and every time you stayed motivated to get out and keep pushing forward against all odds.
There was another piece that I think Larry's not mentioning is realize when all these guys, they were all on the stand team. I was not. But when they would come to your unit, right, they weren't just looking at swimmer stuff. Everything you had was out for display. Your personnel, how the shop looked, how everything else was in there. And especially when the days like when Kelly or Rick came or something like that was one thing. But when Mike Charlie showed up, right, there was some extra time spent to ensure everything looked as good as absolutely possible. Wow. And so you were under review at that point too. And that added another layer, which in turn added a layer to the hangar deck, which in turn so there was a compounding piece to that. But yeah, don't let them kid you. They looked at everything.
Wow. Yeah, they always hid their big knives from me.
But
all the swimmers then had
dude, apparently there's
big
a
SEAL
lot of
team knives.
The Jacques Cousteau sword Excalibur, because I still got mine.
I do too.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I showed up at the air station, man, they had those hidden away.
I talked about that a little bit on my podcast, but these guys were not smart enough to not mention it. It's like, oh yeah, we hit the good stuff. What are you talking about, the good stuff?
Take the beer out of the fridge by the front door. Oh yeah, we were smart.
Yeah, I know we're supposed to use these things, but we wanted to try out this other stuff. As you don't get to try out that other stuff. That's our job. We're doing R&D, not you guys.
Oh,
But
here
let
it
me see
comes.
what you have.
And then I can remember
Then
the
you had
day I
operators
come
who
into
might
the
have taken that
shop,
differently.
and there's Rick Woolford with 12 Mark 13 flares, all tied in a different way, staring at them contemplatively. And I come in and go, "Rick, what are you doing?" "I'm trying to decide what the standard knot is going to be to put these Mark 13 flares in the
Doesn't sound
vest."
like a true story to me.
It is a very true story, and I'll put money on it. And I go, "Well, Rick, we're going to cut the thing and throw the thing away." It was about, "No, we got it now," because, he's working for him, and Larry wants everything the same. So by God, everything's going to be the same. But I just remember Rick contemplatively staring at the knot.
And Butch said, "Damn, man, you ought to go be a pilot or something."
That term standardization. I mean, that's
Actually,
key.
it is a good thing.
That's absolutely key. I mean, everybody should look the same, dress the same, do the procedures the same, all the way down to the finest detail. Larry wanted it precise. and I don't know, I think I maybe shared this story with you. It was in Brooklyn. We were out in the water, and Larry would typically hover off a few feet, and I would do the interactions with the swimmer, and he'd be looking underneath the water, looking, giving that head shake, whatever.
Yeah, the look.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
the look.
He could be in a 50-foot hover. No.
And I remember this kid.
No.
This kid went back up in the helicopter, and Larry swam over, and he goes, "Did you see that kid's fins?" I'm like, "Yeah, Master Chief, I saw it. You need to calibrate that kid." And
It was
get
probably
that
one of
crap
Ober's
off his
kids.
fins."
Yeah, exactly.
It was the guy with the peace sign and the anarchy sign.
Oh, shit. That's Al Lavelle. Olaf.
Oh, wait, it was
It's
Olaf.
Olaf.
The answer is everything now.
But to give you another flavor of that, so same trip, right? Kelly and Master Chief there. They're doing our stand visit. We're getting prepped up, right? Master Chief relieves my shop chief, Ron Roberts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to come back again to the pressure part. It wasn't just being a rescue swimmer. Wow. I mean, there were a lot of pieces. So he's looking at maintenance and how it goes and how we interact on the hand, because it was all incredibly important at that point in time.
Again, the drive that you guys had to keep pushing forward.
One that sticks out that I just thought of, I just remembered, pulled it out of the old memory banks, that is really funny. And as far as we're talking about standardization, we were in Clearwater, and I can't remember if it was a stand check or what, but we got on the H3 and we got airborne, and we're getting ready to go out and work with a swimmer, okay? And I'm gonna say a name, and you guys are gonna chuckle. Marion Drobny. Remember the drob? And so, we're getting ready to deploy and all this. So I'm checking everything out, check my gear, and so I'm always checking the swimmers. And I looked over at Drobny sitting on the damn troop seat. He had taken one of his fins, all right, the end of the fin, and drawn damn Apocalypse Now marks all over. All over his face, like he was getting ready to deploy and kill somebody.
Yeah.
Gosh. And I'm going, damn, man, what the hell's wrong with you? We're not going out on a death mission here. We're going to save people. You need to stop getting in that frame of mind before you go, save somebody's life.
I got busted by the Master Chief one time too, but it wasn't for swimming.
You too?
I got busted.
I think I did too. I'm just going to throw that out there, Butch.
I don't know. I can't remember if it was the 5th District Bulletin or the Commandant's Bulletin, but I had wired a Walkman into the back of my helmet. I was quite proud of myself because I was jamming in the back of the helo with my Walkman going, and somebody took a picture of us doing. I was helping a guy on a hoist, and as soon as it came out, oh crap, something's coming. Flythe, what the hell's that on the back of your helmet? I'm like, he saw that? If you want to listen to music in the aircraft, whistle a damn tune in the microphone. Get that thing off your helmet. And I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to. If that falls out of that aircraft on somebody's head, you're going to get the Coast Guard sued for millions.
And
now, get out of here.
That is an example of LFCG.
Or having anything else but the standard PT gear, the multiple colored
Well, I will tell you what,
sweatshirts.
you go back to Katrina, and because I was in the middle of all that op,
Yep.
and that's what really allowed everybody to do what they did, because you could take a 65 swimmer and stick him on a 60, and people flying with people they didn't know, but they all knew what was supposed to happen. Everything was standardized, so you could do that.
Yeah.
You've worked with Priority One. There's a lot of organizations that can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, because,
Yeah.
well, I lock my fist over here with
Yeah.
the gun on
Yeah.
the side, and, you get the cowboy attitude. And
Or I like this hand signal for radio pickup instead of this
I got
one.
my own hand signals.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're
you get your own hand signals?
Yeah, do they know that up top? Like, what is yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
We weren't ever cowboys.
No. I still have the picture.
Yeah, we
that was
have
the
we have
best picture
photographic
that we-
proof of that.
Yeah.
Larry loves that picture.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah.
Wait, what picture are we talking
We
about?
all dressed up in cowboy hats and shorties. 'Cause
Oh,
they
you know
said,
what?
you guys are no cowboys.
Oh my God.
So, so
All right.
You guys are none of you cowboys. We're quiet professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, this is good.
So we decided, right? This should be interesting. So the whole shop got out there.
This is East City, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
We're wearing
okay.
sunglasses and cowboy hats, right? Next to an H3.
I was on the stand team. I was not part of that.
True. Yeah.
No, sir.
Yeah. And then that's gotten some very good distribution. It is everywhere. So there's a bunch of us. Even Jim Sherman last night, we were cracking up about it. He was livid. Oh, yeah. Livid. I told you we're not. Sorry.
I think Larry Woolford said to me, he said, "Did you see this stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's terrible, Master Chief." And he turns around and I'm going,
That's why you never got a Christmas card. I'm going to throw that out there. Like,
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
I actually have a picture on my phone. I will give it to you.
okay. All right. We won't get into the Christmas cards. We got to know.
No,
Not yet.
No, don't.
Save that till the
All
end.
right. Oh my gosh. Well, like I said, I mean, I appreciate what you guys did to continue to motivate and keep pushing on. So, next question is going to be: as the rate continued to grow, did you expect to see the progress that actually happened?
Yes.
For real?
Yeah. I mean, I saw once it got rolling, I saw the progress going. I go, yeah, someday this thing's going to be big. This is going to spread. I mean, because it really did. It made sense. In other words, it took logic into a chaotic place. We have a logical way we're going to pull this out. Everything's going to work. I thought I wasn't really surprised. I was just glad. I was like, wow, yeah. But I knew he was going to ramrod it through. So,
It pleasantly. I think we all expected it, or at least hoped that it would succeed. Yeah. But it went very. It seemed quickly, but it really wasn't. It was about 10 years.
Yeah.
When it really.
That was a key. We all hoped.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, well, we had to start somewhere, and we had a limited budget, and we had to decide what methods are we going to use. We used the Navy methods first. I mean, there's other stuff they showed us, like direct deployment and stuff. I said, we're not going to do that first.
Yep.
We're going to do this first. And then it was, it morphed from there into good things. I mean, some really cool equipment, cool techniques.
Kept it basic. We went from cracking the whip trying to get the horses to run till we got and then we had to go into the whoa mode.
yeah, the whoa mode. The whoa mode was after the Tunks rescue.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know what the rest of the guys think, but for me, that's when it really cracked open.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, these swimmers are
Bluebird
really
case.
valuable.
Yeah. Bluebird case.
And then everybody wanted a swimmer, even on a trainer. Yeah. I'm not going anywhere without a swimmer. Before that, it was like, no, I don't need a swimmer. Yeah. Go put your stuff away. Bye.
Yeah, I think the guys in my shop, in all honesty, they were motivated to be it. So it was a product of the school, whatever school they went to at the time. But when they got there, enthusiasm was not their problem, right? I mean, it's kind of like Larry and Butch said. If anything, we had to, why are we doing this way? Yeah, I know it makes sense, but we don't have another, answer right now. So here's what we're going to do. Yeah. But I think. I don't know a swimmer that wasn't happy they were a swimmer that I ever had. Now, I'm not saying they're not out there, but I don't remember anyone in my shop that ever was like, Chief, I don't want to do this. I don't think that was ever it, ever. And I think the confidence that it gave everybody, there's no shortage of confidence in any swimmer I had,
I think the only ones, there were a couple, but most of them were the guys that waited right until the last minute.
Yeah, agreed.
And then they came to us in the A school. And, at the time, Commander O'Doherty was the program manager. He goes, I need you to put this guy through school. And I mean, I'm forgetting what the guy's name was, but he showed up and I was like, oh, really? And, we did like 5 minutes on a bicycle. I took his pulse rate and went, okay, get off the bike. Just sit down. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, but he said, no, you got to train him. You either got to quit or you got to train him. And which really, I felt bad.
Yeah.
Because here's a guy with his whole career hanging in the balance, and I got to go, sorry, dude. You failed.
Yeah.
But I'll work with you. You can try again. And, a lot of them just went, screw it. And, they threw it and walked. But some of them made it. But the ones that made it through, I mean, once they made it through, they went, oh, that's done. I ain't never doing that again. Yeah. A couple, one of them would run to the C-130 side, be a drop master, and say, I don't want nothing to do with the swimmer program. And at the time, you could kind of get away with that. But as it morphed, you couldn't get away with that anymore. By the mid-'90s, it was like, you're not going to a qualified. You're not doing, you're a swimmer, because the load had increased so much. That I did a staffing when I had his job up in the program, and I went to all the blue sheets and averaged out how many flight hours more a swimmer flew than the rest of the crew, and it was like 400% more hours swimmers were flying because we didn't staff for everybody to be in a swimmer on every flight. We
Right.
staffed for, you might need a swimmer and you get 5.
Yeah.
With one extra. When one of us got sick, Rick was usually the extra guy. He was on the stand team. So when you got sick, it was like, you're sick. I understand you, dude. Scumbag. I'm like, dude, I didn't try to get sick. And we all got banned from base flag football. Oh, he's hurt. And now I got port and starboard. And it's like, okay, you guys ain't doing flag football anymore. It's like, damn.
From an operator perspective, that was it. And again, I wasn't staying or at the school, but the fact of the matter is when we got them, I got them. They already had those pieces. So it's not probably the right word, but they weeded the people out, or
Yes.
they changed their mindset by the time they got to me, right? And I think that's probably the thankless part of this whole job that nobody ever gets credit for. We forget once we get them, we mold them into something, but they were something before they got there.
Yeah.
And we forgot, part of it. And in the very beginning, it was a whole nother mindset, because we told you you're not going to be liked. They drilled it into you, you're not going to be liked. Right. Oh, and by the way, we're going to go do, A, B, and C. I think that was probably one of the greatest things in the beginning. If that wasn't in place, we wouldn't be having a podcast today.
Yeah. Well, and the progression that happened, like even to when I went through school, because the harnesses gotten better, the deployment methods, we had the direct deployment that was implemented at that point in time, the catenary method, the double lift, and now they're going even further with, now you're allowed to double up with the litter and the basket, and they're doing new and better procedures. But I want to say the reason that's been able to happen is because you started basic, right? We start simple, and you perfect that.
Crawl, walk, run.
Yeah. And now they're at the spot where these guys are so good at what they do. It's mind blowing to me. And the rest of the world, and I kid you not, the rest of the world, and I've listened to it multiple times. They're like, oh yeah, we have the Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer Manual. That's what we're basing our program on. I'm like, holy cow. It's impressive.
Well, we've definitely gotten better from the days of the swimmer spinning. Oh, he's not spinning anymore. You hit the doghouse.
Yeah.
And you think I'm kidding.
I'm not. Actually, I know you're not. Brace for impact.
Yeah. Funny story in my podcast. Like I said, that one time where I had the pilot screaming and he thought he'd kill me when he ran me in the doghouse. Big nose, right? Sticks out in front of an SPH helmet. That hit the doghouse first, so I'm bleeding everywhere. They thought they killed me. No, I'm okay. I got the crew member I'm rescuing asking if I'm okay.
But see, that's how well we train these guys. That's how they all ended up out there, which is one of the things I'm so proud of. It always, it doesn't matter how many broken ribs he's got or what, how much he's bleeding. No, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Let's do what we come here to do.
Yeah. 100%. And it is trickled down through way past, like to the newer generation. And they are so motivated, the newer guys. I mean, I still can't get enough of flying. And I blame all of you guys. Like, I can't wait to get back on the hook. Let's go. Like, I'm already. So.
But I mean, I think in our case, though, we had a lot of hours of nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just, okay. Yeah. Okay. I got 20 hours this month. Thanks. That was great.
Yeah.
Hey, can you look out the left side? We're looking for an overtime. Okay. All right. Thanks. But that's why Butch had his Walkman in the back.
For those that don't know, a Walkman is a cassette player.
Oh, my God.
And you put a cassette in, you had 2 AA batteries that you would push play, and if your battery started dying, I gotta change the batteries out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. We're done now. I'm going home.
We're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Precision Aviation Group. Mission-critical operators and fleet managers rely on Precision Aviation Group as a worldwide leading rotor and fixed-wing MRO provider. PAG provides tip-to-tail solutions in 4 MRO segments: avionics, components, engines, and manufacturing DER services. A single point of contact gives you access to over 150 million in inventory, globally 24/7. Just call 800-537-2778. Precision Aviation Group. Others sell parts. We sell support.
All right, so you know what, you guys have all had your own podcast, and you guys have all dropped some amazing stories and stuff. So one of the things that we've never really talked about is the swimmer brotherhood. All right, did you expect and ever expect to see this rescue swimmer brotherhood turn into what it has become today? We're here at DECERT. This is our second DECERT, and we literally have there's probably about 400 of us that are coming today. That's almost half of everybody that's gone through school. So did you guys ever expect to see this kind of brotherhood come through?
I don't know. I kind of did. I kind of did because we established it right off. I mean, me, Kelly, Steve, Rick. Okay, yeah, Larry too. But no, I mean, no. We had each other's back. Yeah. You know, we were tight. You know, Kelly and us, we made our own little thing, Brothers of the Megalodon. We had little shark teeth on our.
I thought about bringing that too.
I still got mine too.
I still got mine.
We were, beers on the beach. It was stupid. But anyways, it's
so cute.
Yeah, but I saw it coming. I just was, like Larry, I was always cautious about, we don't want to come off like a bunch of arrogant asses is the big thing, But we, like I say, we were silent professionals in the beginning, and but we all had each other's back. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was tight. I think it was tight from my point of view from the beginning. I did.
I did.
Except for the guys that had to do it that didn't want to do it. Those were the ones that were kind of.
Yeah, there's a few of those.
I didn't forecast it, but it happened to me, extremely emotional. And when we had our first reunion in 2010, in Elizabeth City, I mean, like a ton of bricks. And then last night I drank too many beers because I'm trying to keep the cup up because I'm literally choking back tears.
That's awesome.
Because it's, I complained to Joey first thing yesterday morning at ATC because, I'm getting up there in age, But I recognize 99% of the faces I recognize. But I can't pull up the name for nothing. I gave Joey, I said, you get on your hotline and get some damn name tags.
You know what makes me bad? I needed them too. Like, I know you. Yeah, I don't know. That's funny.
Well, I think probably the worst part is, do you remember when? No. Can you give me a little, is this good? Public? Oh, okay, let's not talk about that.
No, I was seeing guys last night. He said, yeah, you took me on my stand check at Air Station Clearwater or Brinken or, something like that. And I'm going, oh, yeah. And I got no recollection of it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. We jumped in the water and got wet.
Yeah.
I get old A school students that come up to me because I was at the school on my first tour during what we call the meat factory years. That's when the rate was growing and we were doing like a class every month. They were just pounding them through. And it's like, next. And they come up to you and go, you remember that time on the pool deck when you, and I was like, no, sorry, get over it.
See, what I again, not from, go ahead.
So is it to the point where I've stood out to you enough that you remember me? Is that what I hear?
Quinn and the rest of his little class right here, and then the tall, stupid one in the middle. That's somebody pound that kid.
Sounds about right.
So for those of you that put your full name on the name tag last night, we appreciate it. Those that put your stupid nickname, we don't know what that is.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you. If I have an opportunity to speak this evening, I'm going to say that too, because it took me years to figure out who Izzy was, and that was from Facebook.
Yeah.
Izzy, Lumpy.
Yep.
You know what's kind of interesting, though, at least for me, these guys, the number of people they've seen go through stand visits, A school and all that stuff. But for me last night, it was seeing all the people that I'd known previously and their success. That was, for me, huge. Right? One, that I didn't scar them so badly, they didn't come back. All right, there's a positive note. Conversely, though, I mean, they all did well. And, there's so many factors that go into it, but being part to see that. And then, with Kelly and I being number one, when I first walked through and registered, this sounds really weird. They're like, who are you? Steve Ober, right? And they're like, okay, what's your number? And I go 1. They're like,
Yeah, right.
not a
Really,
joke.
what's your number?
Yeah, they're laughing, whatever. And I go, no, 1. And they're like, everything stopped. And then I'm like, I just want to crawl in a hole and walk away, right? And then I'm looking at, do you know there's 970, number 978's already checking in? And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And even when we went to do the 1,000th, swimmer, right? It's incredible, right? From where we started, from somehow accepting, and I'm not even sure of the process. Rick remembers more of the process. I don't know how we did Nowsby, and next thing I know, we had orders. I mean, it was so fast. And then, we're in school, then we finish up, then we're in E-City doing this, and then, we meet Larry for the first time. We don't have a long enough podcast, but I do remember that going, okay, I'm a little uncomfortable here. And then, just crazy times. And then E-City, remember Ray Stalvey, you guys? But he helped our program too, being a non-swimmer. He
was the one that banned us from football. All right, you guys ain't playing football.
Right. Yeah.
Or
But
see
I mean,
hot boxes to fit cigarettes.
We never would have gotten those tennis shoes or any of those other things if it wasn't for Ray Stalvey.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the other thing. Our manual said one thing, but SKs would look at our manual and go, that manual does say nothing to me. It says nothing. I'm like, that's a manual. I don't care. I'm not buying your stuff. It's like, oh my God.
So Larry, how close did we get to not continuing? Remember, there was after the first year, I think we weren't funded. Was that correct? And we had to travel with the stand team, and I had to play flight mech, and you had to play swimmer, something like that.
Yeah. We were on a tightrope several times, and we had there were times probably in the first 3 years there that we had to figure stuff out, and do it without money.
Yeah, we had an implementation schedule that we couldn't even do sometimes. I think it was 87. We may not have been funded at all.
Yes. Yep. 87 fiscal year 87. We weren't funded at all, so we just sat. We didn't do anything.
Wow.
And
That was the year you busted me for the Walkman, just so you know.
well, I had to find something to do.
Let me ask, was the swimmer program, I understand, funded from a headquarters position, but did units get extra money? Was that part of the grief?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Yeah,
The individual units were budgeted.
Okay. Because I thought that would have been probably a big piece of why they disliked us even more if they didn't get funded for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, damaging their aircraft with salt water. Yeah, things that, especially the 65. I mean, that was a big deal. The 65 putting salt water in there, I felt bad, but we were the first ones to do it.
And part of that was engineering saying that, oh God, ASM's got all the money they want now. Oh Lord, here we go.
Well, they always came to us for the cool stuff anyways, right? Because we had all the flight gear, right?
Yep.
Yeah, had to beg us for an extra pair of sunglasses, right?
That's funny.
I want to talk about something that may not be on your list.
Go ahead.
Female rescue swimmers,
Yeah.
right? So as we were starting, people were going to the school from the fleet. It wasn't just the guys out of A school. They were getting those guys ready physically, so they had a better chance, I think, in A school. But we were still sending people from the fleet, trying to tell them how to get ready, all this kind of stuff. And then some females went through, and that's where shin splints come to mind. That was the injury that seemed to stop them because you're doing more running than swimming at the Navy Rescue Swimmer School, and it didn't make any sense. Anything to say about that?
I had a lot of interaction with the Navy because we were trying to, we decided and we got current counsel at the time from the medical people that we were going to have the females do the same thing that the males were doing.
Oh, absolutely. There was no break. Yeah, nothing different.
Right. Yeah. Well, at the same time, they were building stepping boxes for the women down in Pensacola for, like the pull-up bars and infamous little obstacle course that they had next door.
Yeah.
It was not even in the curriculum. So, and they were building these little height stepping boxes for the female. And so I had to put the quash on that. And I spent some time with, because Kelly Moak was the, she's Kelly Moak Larson now.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I want to make sure we brought her name up.
Anyway, so that was 1986. So I spent a lot of time with her on the phone and her supervisors within the Coast Guard, and spent a lot of time on the phone with the Navy to make sure that she had equal treatment, and followed her pretty much all through her training. And then actually I went down to her graduation. So
Yeah, we followed everybody. Everybody's name was up on the board who was going to school at the time. We had somebody had to go, I think, to the hospital with the guy with the kidney problems and stuff. I mean, it got close for some of these guys. But I want to bring up Kelly's name, the first female rescue swimmer.
Yep.
Kelly Moak.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, there's a lot of inaccurate information out on social media these days.
Yeah, they're true. Very
Yeah,
true.
anyway.
So Kelly Moak was the first Coast Guard rescue swimmer.
Yes.
That made
Yeah.
it through. And then Jody,
First female.
Jody Vanderheiden was
yeah,
the next
was
one.
the number 2.
Yeah.
And then we switched the name of the rate to AST, which then brought in Sarah Faulkner.
Well, no, you had Sherry Benaissa also.
Oh,
She
okay. I
got
didn't know
through.
that.
Yeah, Sherry Benaissa got through, and she went to San Diego. Were you there when Sherry was there? I don't think you were there. I think Ron Butcher was the shop chief.
Yeah, I was in San Diego in '80.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
so I
But
was a
Sherry
third class
Benaissa,
flight back,
I think she eventually went OC. Was she in your class? Okay. No, she was in Keith's class, I think it was.
Ken Keith?
Keith's class, I think so. But she made it through. And so
So
those
it'd
were
be
the first.
three ASM rescue
three
swimmers.
ASM female rescue swimmers, yes.
They went through the Navy Rescue Swimmer School.
Right on.
Yeah. What you see on social media is some people saying, "Well, that was a Navy rescue swimmer." I go, "No, I was working for the Coast Guard. I'm a Coast Guard rescue swimmer." But they say, "Well, this was the first Coast Guard trained female rescue swimmer." I go, okay,
Now,
"Big deal." I mean, the first swimmer was Kelly Moak. The first female rescue swimmer was Kelly Moak.
agreed.
So that needs to be just known that that's her.
And in fairness, there were a lot of females that tried,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And this isn't being disrespectful for whatever reason. It just didn't work out for them. But there was no shortage of people willing to give it a try, and due to multiple reasons, whether it was physical injury or whatever the case may be, they just weren't able to get to the standard, right, that allowed them to go. And I'm not sure whether that was an A school or the Navy.
Well, I tell you what, I respect the females more because they're working. Well, okay, it's a physiology thing.
Right.
I mean, as much as people want to bless it, it's a physiology thing. Women are stronger in the legs than a guy if they want to be. If you want to, example, go look at Jody over in the thing. Jody's got Herschel Walker thighs. I mean, she works those things. And you're going to go, dang, man, that woman has got some thighs.
I'm sure she's going to appreciate that.
Oh, I used to, no,
You know what?
I used to
think
work
it's a
with.
compliment for her. And
No,
I know,
I
but
mean,
I'm just
Jody,
laughing.
but they had to work twice as hard because of the upper body requirement.
Right.
But it had to be done. But I mean, people are like, well, maybe you need to lower your upper body requirement. And I was like, because when I ran the school, I was constantly getting pressure about your standards are too high. You don't have enough of this. You don't have enough of that. You don't have enough of these. And I'm like, well, if you want me to lower my standard, you can relieve me because I'm not sending anybody out there that doesn't pass this. And I ended up hiring a exercise physiologist to come in. I showed her videos. I showed her all the stuff that we do. And then I said, I need a report from you telling me whether I'm doing it right or I'm doing it wrong. And she said, you're pretty much doing it right. You just need to add some, if you look at all the old rescue swimmers, we kind of walk like foghorn leghorn because we did so many flutter kicks that our hip flexors are like this big and the other ones on the other side are like this big. So you're pulling foghorn leghorn.
That's my go-to exercise. What are you talking about, man? I'll sit there out by the pool going.
But she said, "Oh, just do some step ups and work the rear of the leg and the glutes." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." But I had that report, and more than once, I had to pull it out in front of somebody and say, "You read this before you tell me to lower my standard.
Yeah.
Read that right there," and it usually shut them up. And the next guy that relieved me, I said, "Take this. You're going to need it."
Yeah. Yeah.
It evolved into a constant battle ever since
Yeah.
the Lee Marecki accident at the Navy School, 1988.
Yeah.
Because the first thing the Navy did was they discontinued any instructor on student contact,
Yeah.
which they have done to this day. And I've had over the years, I've had business meetings in my other world and taking tours of the swimmer school, and we took one in 2006, the swimmer school, and there was this kid that was leading a tour. Turned out he was the lieutenant commander around the school.
Wow.
And he came up to me after the tour, and he said, "You're Master Chief Farmer, right?" I said, "Yeah." He said, I remember you from the Marecki incident. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, we got real problems in the Navy swimmer world. I said, what are you talking about? He said, we got swimmers quitting in rescues, and
Wow.
we can't get through to higher authorities because within the swimmer world with the Navy, we want to go back to an instructor on student contact because you guys never quit, and you guys are the world's premier rescue swimmer program.
Yeah.
So. We've been fighting that battle, and most of it is because you need more numbers. Yeah. We need more throughput. We need, and the bean counter's answer is always relax the standards.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no.
So
You know what? I've heard it on here a couple times, and guys have brought it up. Is Mother Nature doesn't care, and Mother Nature is trying to kill you.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if you can't do the basic standards, Mother Nature is going to win.
Yeah.
You know, I wonder, you talk about standards, right? So when Kelly and I went through, the standard was already there at that point. I wonder if it'd been different if the whole program would be different. There's no answer. But I mean, it would have been interesting, for example, if there was like no contact, and all that. I mean, in Kelly and I's class, I don't remember who was remember the guy they took down the bottom, broke his jaw? Right.
That was that guy that was afraid of snakes. What was his name? The curly red.
For some reason, I think it's Bob.
Afraid of snakes in the water? There's snakes in the water.
this is
Snakes in the
what-
pool.
No. This guy
was curly.
This guy was terrifying in the water. He was one of the
And they
guys
picked
that
on him.
that
He
would
was a
hit you the
magnet.
he would hit you the hardest. And if you were even
Those.
slightly afraid of this guy, he would just focus in on you, and it's his radar. But then one day we saw just how fragile this guy was. They had him in a Stokes ladder in the shallow end of the pool for a demonstration of how to put somebody in a Stokes ladder. And one of his colleagues, one of their swimmers, came with a little gardener snake. You remember that? He came in with a little gardener snake, and they turned him around and had him running. He's like, ah! The guy was having a meltdown in the pool, and we're all sort of like, oh, he's not so tough.
Oh, my God.
But to the rest of the story, Petty
What's
Officer
his name,
Rose.
Baker?
I thought it was Barber. It doesn't matter. I'm old.
you thinking of Guido?
No. Guido was a
Guerrero.
little
Garrido, that was he was my
I'm
instructor.
actually friends with him on
Captain
Facebook.
Hydraulic. He won't scared of nothing, and nothing stopped him.
And he
It was
could
like,
run.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Captain
God,
Hydraulic.
that man can run.
I
And
got
he's
the
another
picture.
tree
I got the
trunk with
picture on
thighs.
my phone.
Yeah.
If he's 5'5", I'd be amazed. And his thighs were, I don't know, 40 inches.
They
I mean,
threw
he
him
was
in the
huge.
pool, strapped in a litter in my class, left him there, and the guy's doing a lecture, and we're all like, do they remember they threw Garrido in the pool? He's just sitting on the bottom of the pool. I'm like, he's been talking for 2 minutes. Garrido's still in the pool down there, and they're like, they're still going.
Anyways, back to our story. Rose takes him down to the bottom, right? Got him from behind the head. Somehow he tucked his chin, but not far enough, and he dislocated his jaw. So he's at the bottom of the pool, chug-lugging, panicking. They let him up for a second for who knows unknown reason, only for a second. He gets a breath of air. He's trying to hold his hand up that he's injured. Down he goes again. We're all watching, going, well, this isn't looking good. Finally comes back up, right? He's trying to talk. They're screaming at him, speak to me, say something. He can't do it.
Way to go, Steve.
All right.
It's all right. Steve has
I did.
lots of money.
Oh, my God.
Steve can buy you 2 of those.
We dropped a camera.
Order another one of those, Steve, quick.
You can put that down. Just put that down.
Anyways, nonetheless, they broke his jaw, finally brought him back up. And needless to say, he didn't finish the class.
Wait a minute. Hold on, Steve. Steve, hold on. We
You're
got
not
wait.
talking. You're not
Could-
talking into the mic.
Yeah, you got to talk into the mic, Steve. That's all right. Gosh, this is why we can't have nice things. I just
We know I used to do that. One of the things that was very important by the staff is even with the standards, you could get beast
yeah.
coming in there, killing the standard, getting in the water, swimming fine, but the first time an instructor touched them and grabbed them, freak.
Yeah.
Okay, and we'd look at and we'd do write-ups after each pool session. We'd write up and go, this kid is uncomfortable in the water, and we had little exercises that we would do. Nothing crazy. It was simple as this. It was put your mask on, fill it with water, swim down and back. With water in my mask? Yep. Put your mask on, fill it with water, swim down and back. And just that one little bit, because they couldn't handle closing off their nose with water in their face. It
Yeah.
was one of those like, okay, this guy's got issues.
Gosh.
with the water. I mean, you had to learn you got the 1,000-yard stare that you'd look and they go, okay, this kid's locked up.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just standards. You were looking for, there is a wiring that is in a rescue swimmer's head. And see, that's one of the things is the Coast Guard's training philosophy back in the day when I was in there was, well, we can train anyone to do anything as long as we train them right. I go, no,
Yeah. Man.
that's incorrect. I mean, and I got people that disagree with me. I said, well, you can disagree with me, but I got a lot of years training ASTs, and I can tell you right now that sometimes, that's Garrido right there.
The guy behind him is the guy.
And okay, got it. Yeah,
That was the guy that was just an absolute monster.
yeah,
in the
Becker.
pool. Becker.
Oh, God.
Yeah, he was.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Becker.
You need a mic too, by the way.
By the way.
Yeah.
Becker.
So for the listeners, so in '88, the Navy Rescue Swimmer School paused because they had a death in their training program.
Yep.
So that's when the Coast Guard started our water portion of the AST school.
Right.
ASM school at the time, perhaps. I'm not.
ASM, it started at ASM, and then got changed to AST.
Well, we had a group. We had two classes we trained. They called them the Blue Light Specials.
Oh,
And those were ones that were trained by us there after Marecki was killed. Because what happened was he called us up and he told Kabicki, send them all out to EMT school. And so George Waters and I, another instructor, we took a group of kids out to Petaluma. I ain't even going to go there. That's a whole nother podcast, too, because it was always, where's the ASM instructor? Oh, crap. I'm over here.
yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you what happened because it's like, do you know your guys just roar, 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 roar? No, I didn't know that, but I'll go take care of it. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it there because it's
Before
bad.
Ricky, though, were there actually other casualties? I mean, Larry, there had to be other injured. They just wasn't investigated. I mean, because the school been operating like that forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I just, for the Navy's sake, there's no need to rehash all
No,
that.
no, I
but
was just
they were
curious,
they were
personal.
freelancing a lot of stuff. And there were a lot of things that were going on that they were imitating a lot of parts of SEAL training, and just doing off the curriculum, pure harassment. And so, Commander O'Darty and I were down there for like 6 weeks during the investigation. So we were sitting at the investigators' table every day, and Commander O'Darty is trying to get me to keep my mouth shut, and that was hard to do. That was a hard task because I was so pissed at the Navy I couldn't even stand it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew, they were going to recommend a lot of stuff that we could not bear to do on the Coast Guard side of the house, and fortunately, we were able to hold our own.
That's awesome.
I was just curious. Yeah.
Just so you know, during that time, we were doing so much prep at ASM school in Elizabeth City. By the time a class went down there, it was almost a shoo-in that the honor graduate was going to be a coastie. Almost a shoo-in.
Oh, wow.
Steve was an honor graduate.
Hey.
Yeah. And
Number one.
Yeah.
And number one.
yeah.
Twice. Nice.
But so what
Sorry,
they
Cal.
started doing is what they
Kelly
started
should've
doing
been.
after a couple of years was, okay, this class is going to be a Navy guy. Okay, this class is going to be a coastie. We'll let a Navy guy get it this time. We'll let a coastie get it
Got
this
it,
time.
got it.
It was like, because they were going down there and killing it because they'd had instructor on student contact at ASM school, and then they get down there and it's
It
ain't so bad.
was a walkthrough. I mean,
Yeah.
they were doing a wonderful job. I mean,
Yeah.
it was overkill. I mean, it was a positive thing because
you had to have the ticket punched
yep, they had
to leave you guys to go down there.
to get out of the Navy school to get into the fleet. You had to have the Navy ticket punch.
Oh,
So
gotcha.
that's-
Right on. We're going to divert real quick to thank our sponsors.
Axnis. The Axnis PNG wireless ICS system delivers cutting-edge wireless ICS technology to any aircraft as a fully integrated system or as a carry-on, carry-off mobile base station. The PNG wireless system is the right solution for any mission.
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, we're going to be, we've only got a little bit of time left. So I'm going to run two more questions. And the first question I'm going to ask is going to be like, I'm going to go each individual, quick answer. Ready? where do you see us going from here? The U.S. Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer Program going from here forward. Any predictions, Butch?
Rescue Space Force.
Rescue Space Force. All right. All right.
Only Butch would come
I like that. Rick.
Hard to top. Better equipment, better techniques. I mean, it just keeps getting better. Just keep taking care of each other.
All right. Steve.
I guess it's going to more align. They'll get more sophistication with respect to medical abilities. Step out of the EMT role. So I think it'll take a step above.
So above EMT basic?
Yeah.
To a
or
higher
EMTP,
level?
I think they're pushing that
or
now.
EMTI,
Are they?
yeah,
Okay.
so-
You know what? Let me touch on that just a little bit because part of me agrees with you, and the other part of me is like, I have a hard time with it because of the lack of patients we get to see. Like throughout my career, I mean, even if I was flying every 2 weeks, that's not a lot of patient care when you're talking about an elevated level of medical care. That's my only argument to it. And I mean, I'm a current paramedic, NREMTP certified. I've got my card. But I will tell you, if I walk up to a unit right now as a paramedic, I'd be like, all right, bro, you got to start me at the basics, man. Like,
But I think part of it would be a paradigm shift in capabilities, right? I think due to shortages, it'd be an ideal fit based on the current workforce in the Coast Guard. And then I would, come back saying there's no shortage of training. So
Right.
just because I'm not in a helicopter doesn't mean I can't be good at innovating. It doesn't mean I can't, get a good stick or anything at the local ER because you have to do it anyways.
We used to volunteer in the local ambulance to get our hours. I'd run ambulance in East City, and that's how I got my volunteered. And you
Didn't
got
we do
your extra-
ACLS for a
stuff.
while? Because some of us stepped
Yeah.
because I got ACLS in Brooklyn and all that, and I remember that was a big deal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a requirement. I don't remember why we did it. It was probably just Steve, and then it came to the point that it was very hard to keep up, and especially when we were doing multiple tasks, multiple hours, multiple flights, all those things that went with it.
and for
But
the
I think if
record,
you could-
I do agree with you, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a super smart way to go. I think paramedic level is like the way to go between the drugs and the patients that we have to see and go on scene to get. I think they need that higher level of care. Personal opinion.
Yeah.
It's purely a personal opinion. But the amount of training that comes with it, which I know what that is, that's what's hard. And yeah,
And we've come so far from mass pants.
Yeah.
Right? Mass
Yeah.
pants was
Yeah,
our
yeah, yeah.
cure.
Totally.
Everybody remember that? That was the know all, be all, military anti-shock trousers.
And you look at the para-rescue men. I mean, those guys are all paramedics rolling in.
Oh, yeah.
They're high-speed dudes.
Yeah.
They might not see a patient for 6 months.
Yeah. But when they do,
Well,
When
yeah.
they do, they are ready for it for sure.
Well, kind of like when I was a medic. If you didn't get your sticks, it was like, hey, bro, let me see your arm for a minute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right, go ahead. Damn.
All right. Kelly.
I don't really know how to answer that because I don't know what the statistics would be to support what needs to be done, and I think that was a really big part of what started the program was the statistics and the data they used to drive the core of the program. So I'm kind of curious how it's progressed over all these years and what the actual numbers are. Just like the case you used there with, paramedic certification, and you don't see that many patients,
Right.
So is that really where the investment should be made in advanced medical training, or is it in something else like underwater training?
Yeah.
Like dive equipment or have that capability. I don't know what the numbers are it would support where they need to take it next, but that'd be interesting to find out.
Yeah. All right. Larry?
ask Larry what he thinks about having a scuba dive. Just throwing it out there.
I get to give you my prediction on the back end of this. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, great.
Any predictions for the future, Larry?
Boy, I hate to come off as a crotchety old man.
It's all right, Larry. We already are.
By God, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
seriously, wow. How good has this worked for 39 years?
Really good.
You know,
Really good.
39 years.
Yeah.
And I just hope it continues. My only concern is the only thing that I worry about is because of the numbers and because of budgetary restraints and all that is lowering the standard
Yeah.
Right.
to get more numbers, because that's a predictable situation. Somebody will get hurt.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get hurt, and it's either going to be, God forbid, a survivor or, God forbid, a swimmer, because they don't have the adequate tools to do what they need to do. And then, and then, 39 years ago, some of us had to deal with, Steve Ober on the phone going, "Hey, I'm diver qualified. You want me to go? You want me to go down to the beach and look for that lost swimmer they got down there?"
Oh my gosh! You remember that guy that that was creepy. That was creepy. That was
Steve, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, I got my card. I'm certified. I'll see you later. I'll call you and let you know how it goes.
And that's why the standards are put in place.
Because I heard from Larry last night, how did he get me to do stuff? Right? He just told me no, then I'd go do it.
Yeah.
pretty much summed it up.
That's awesome.
One more quick thing is that I honestly see because in the last part of my career, I was on the gear side.
Yeah.
And I saw how much the gear was kind of, that was getting brushed aside because the guys were working so hard that, things dropped off. I'm going. I see it possibly someday that swimmers are pulled out of the engineering section of the hangar deck and put in ops. And all the gear is contracted out. You can ask Larry's son, Jimmy, over there, because he's a civilian working in an ASM shop doing the gear because nobody else is doing the gear. So he's doing it. I foresee that spreading.
Ops would love that. I mean, all the way back to 85, 86, Ops always wanted us.
Oh, yeah. You're the new morale officer. Oh.
Or me. I got cast to AMO.
Yeah.
Ammo.
Yeah.
When I showed up in Elizabeth City as the 8.
Oh, that's right. I remember you telling me that. Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Uncle Kunkel pushed that for years, man. And, he made admiral till the day he retired.
Yeah.
Wow. He was getting the swimmers out of engineering and putting them in ops.
Yeah. And see, to me, I just bought that because the camaraderie you build on the hangar deck with the other rates is important. And, we're already kind of off to the side in our own little world. And if you completely go into ops, then it's done. You're just going to be in your own little cocoon. And I know I'm an old crotchety old dude too. And that's my fear because I valued that I valued being an engineering chief in the engineering chief mess and sitting down and trying to solve hangar deck problems. All that's going to probably go away if they go into ops.
Yeah.
I got one question though. I'm curious from Rick actually. So he went from being a rescue swimmer, all of a sudden became a 60 driver, right? So now he's driving the bus. Sorry, right? But what was that like? All of a sudden you got a swimmer in the back, understanding the mentality, right? But you have a lot of other factors now going into it, like 4 other people in a multi-million-dollar aircraft.
I wasn't afraid to use the swimmer. I knew what his capabilities were. I got accused the other night of maybe asking a guy to go and he didn't want to go. And I was like, that's fine. That's built into the program. You can say no. You can be in the door getting the taps and say, this doesn't look right. I don't want to go. That's fine. That's fine. But no, knowing the capabilities of the swimmer, I used them for stuff like we found a vessel offshore capsized. And I said, hey, swimmer, would you like to go down and check that out? Make sure nobody, you can't go underneath, but, make sure there's nobody down here. So, are you kidding, Mr. Woolford? I said, yeah. We're going to do a free fall deployment with you. He was so excited, like, oh my God, he's going to use the swimmer. But it was great that I knew their capabilities. And
I was just curious.
Use them.
So how did that relate to other pilots so that it didn't have that? And I don't mean to ask. I'm just curious because I have no idea.
He's taking your podcast.
That's all he's taking over. Yeah. I don't know. They could talk to me as other pilots and ask me, what's the capability of the swimmer? What can they really do? Are you scared of losing one?
Yeah.
Don't you want to keep them attached? And it wasn't much later that we did the direct deployment techniques, so we were keeping them attached, right? So that was another option. Because in the beginning, everything was based on either free fall or you get lowered on the strop and you release, and you're free in the water. That's what was people were concerned about, not being able to recover the swimmer.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was just curious.
We had different capabilities after that.
But we needed bus drivers.
Yeah, for sure. All right, boys, I got one more question for you. And
wait.
Yeah?
We wanted your perspective.
My perspective, my predictions.
That's important.
I think it's more of a pipe dream. I think Larry's going to kick my ass right after this. But I'm seeing 2 swimmers with parachutes and an RHI going back of her.
They're going to hit you with this microphone?
Okay, and that's where that's going to be.
Do you know when the Challenges blew up, we were all in Elizabeth City, and some of us flew on the search. I flew on one of the searches, but he was telling me that the Air Force dropped 2 PJs out after the Challenger went up and just dropped them out in the middle of the debris fields to see what you can go find. Didn't they lose one of them or injure one of them?
I don't recall that part, but
yeah,
I do recall because Rick and I were there.
Yeah.
and
We were in Clearwater doing
yeah, we were in
implementation.
Clearwater
That's right.
trying to do implementation, or we had
Because you
started.
told me after the fact, I'm cloudy on the story, but it was an interesting story. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, everybody went ballistic. And I got called over to ops, and the CO's going, "Hey, we're gonna take you guys out. We got rescue swimmers. We're gonna send our swimmers out." And I had to put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
I said, "No." I said, "You got nobody here is qualified to do swimmer ops."
Another swimmer dream crushed.
Yeah, just like Steven, I missed our opportunity to be Hollywood stars.
Yeah.
It was stolen from us.
Oh, I love it. All right, boys. Listen, we only got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to ask one more question, and then we'll wrap it up. So, out of your time that you've been a rescue swimmer, and not even during your time as being a rescue swimmer, what is something you cherish most about your experiences? All right, let me start with you.
Oh my God.
You want me to come back to you?
No,
Okay, excellent.
because I'll say it right up front. What I cherish most is inheriting these guys that are sitting right here at the table.
That's awesome.
And if we'd have had any jerks in the beginning of this program, and we were fortunate enough that we didn't, but one or two guys that were really off kilter could have really upset this program in a very bad way. And I think back 39 years ago, I was hard at times on these guys, but what was great about them was they had personality too.
I find that hard to believe.
They had the personalities to be able to persist,
Yeah.
and
Or ignorant.
work.
We just talk behind your back.
I know.
To Vince
And
Steve, so
I know. And at times work their way around the Master Chief. And, I'm fortunate that
Didn't happen either.
we had such great people come into this program,
Right on.
especially in the early days. And what makes me proudest most is those kind of individuals continue today. And that's great.
That's cool. Thank you. Kelly, what do you got?
It's may seem kind of strange, but when you work with people of this caliber and integrity, it instills a certain how to describe it. It's something that makes you a different person. It kind of forms you, and I don't know how many times when I made chief, I remember the day I made chief, and Master Chief Farmer was there, and I was practically a teenager when I made chief. I was young, and he taught me a lot of stuff about being a leader, and how to work with people, how to have that line that stays consistent. It never changes from day to day, no matter whether it's a good day, bad day.
Yeah.
The brotherhood, it's really what I cherish more than anything.
That's awesome. Man, thank you. Steve,
Be honest, last night,
last night?
walking into registration, right? With good,
Oh, wait
bad, or
until
indifferent.
today?
Number one, it
There's
was
even
like,
going to be more today,
oh
Steve.
my God. Well, yeah, but that was, for me personally, going, okay, we were actually part of something. So we're all here. We all got numbers. We all got certificates and all that. But for me personally, having the opportunity to see not only people that I'd worked with, I've known, knew me, whatever the case may be, into a room like that, to know I'm part of something and what they actually accomplished, all from something so far ago with no rules, no huge expectations, just here's an opportunity. What are you going to do with it? And then the second part to that is the very beginning is opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't know how the process worked, but I know for me personally, without that, I'm not sure I'd be where I am today, period.
Right on. Thanks, Steve. Rick.
I'm going to use the same word, opportunity. And I'm going to make this more, you said, what did I cherish about the Rescue Swimmer
Absolutely.
Program? I'm going to make it more personal.
Okay.
Okay, more about me. All right, so when I was younger, I loved everything on the water, everything in the water. I became a scuba diver, and I use U.S. divers equipment. I joined the Coast Guard because I want to be on the water. I want to save people predominantly. I did the law enforcement thing as well, but I wanted to join the Coast Guard be on the water, save people, and that feeling, the eye to eye, when you save somebody as a flight mech, as a swimmer, whatever, you'll never get that back. But so I joined the Coast Guard. I get a chance to be on a Coast Guard cutter, get a chance to go to Navy dive school where they issue me all brand new U.S. divers equipment, exactly like what I was using in the civilian world. And, that was in the past because I became an ASM, and then they come up with this solicitation for a rescue swimmer. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. I don't know what it is, but it looks pretty cool. So I sign up for it. They give me all brand new U.S. divers equipment, the same mask I was using the 2 more times. And I have that kind of mask to this day. That works. It fits my face, right?
Yeah.
But, just the opportunity to be that close, to get in the water, to rescue people face to face. And it doesn't get any better than that. So the young men and women that want to join the armed forces, I mean, it's all about opportunity regardless of which branch you join. But Coast Guard, rescue swimmer, it doesn't get any better than that.
Oh, absolutely not.
So I totally get it. These guys,
I'm biased, but
you said it before, Quinny. Yeah, you said it. It's like, doesn't get any better than that. In the water, rescuing people. Oh, you threw in the physical fitness part.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I blame Kurt for that.
Okay. Okay. It's part of it. I got to tell you.
Actually, I should
It is
probably
part of it.
blame Butch for that because he's like, do another lap. All right.
Because Quinny said, I get a chance to work out. I'm like, okay. Whatever motivates you. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Butch, what do you cherish most about it?
The moment I cherish most, I was sitting at my desk in headquarters. I just made Master Chief. And he walked in as a salesman for Henderson. And I said, Larry, I've been waiting for this for a long time. Get the hell out of my office. That is the moment that I cherish. No, not really. I did cherish the moment. It was kind of funny.
Yes.
He looked at me and went, what? I went, I'm joking, Larry. Come on in. It's all
yes, he did. Yes, he did.
If you could have seen the look on his face, I was like, I'm kidding.
He loved every minute of it.
I did.
Oh, my God.
No, but I will say this. The friendships I have forged within this group have stuck throughout my life. I'm 63 years old now. And I can walk into a room with these guys and it's like yesterday. It's like it was yesterday. We all kind of stay in touch. Steve lives kind of close to me. He's down doing the conga in Miami, and everybody's kind of spread out. But we can walk into a room and it's just like it's yesterday. And I cherish that because I see people on the outside looking in going, wow, that's kind of cool. I wish I had that. Because a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They don't have that brotherhood, right? Sisterhood, brotherhood, hood, whatever hood you want to make it. But that's what I cherish the most is just the people I have met and been with and continue to this day to call brother.
Right on. Hey, thank you. Guys, we have been going for about an hour and a half. I cannot thank you enough for coming out here and sitting here live with me. It's an absolute true honor to have you guys in front of me. It has been an absolute blast for me to be able to do this podcast. I've had some amazing stories that have come on. All of you guys have come on. I got guys sitting in this room that are going to join me as well. I got Jimmy Farmer back there. He came on, told me a story, and with one of his survivors, which was amazing. I mean, the stuff that's gone on, and it all started with these guys right here. So I cannot thank you enough for coming on and joining me. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So,
5 Cougars.
you 5 Cougars. Oh.
And thank you. I told you during my podcast that thank you for what you do, and don't stop doing this because this is a historic session right here. Right here with the people you have here that's like the originals. This has never been done before. So I would like to ask that you keep,
Roger that, Master Chief. Huh?
try to get over 1,000 of them if you can. Here, record everybody's story because everybody's got one.
Okay. Yes, sir. Well, awesome. Well, we got a party to go to.
Yeah. I gotta get there.
And we gotta hurry up. Yeah. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Now it's time for me to pull chocks and take off. But before I go, I'm always looking for the memorable rescues that people have done. If you have one that you're willing to share or know somebody who has a story, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to highlight it here at the Real ResQ. For everybody that is standing by for that SAR alarm, remember,
Those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. So until next time, fly safe and swim hard. Thank you for joining me today here at the Real ResQ podcast, powered by Vertical Helicast. We'd also like to say thank you to our sponsors for this episode.
Breeze Eastern. For over 80 years, Breeze Eastern has designed and manufactured battle-proven aerial rescue hoists, winches, and cargo hooks. Each product is carefully crafted to support demanding mission scenarios, ensuring the job gets done safely and efficiently. Visit them today at www.breeze-eastern.com. Axnis. The Axnis PNG wireless ICS system delivers cutting-edge wireless ICS technology to any aircraft as a fully integrated system or as a carry-on, carry-off mobile base station. The PNG wireless system is the right solution for any mission.
And
Precision Aviation Group. Mission-critical operators and fleet managers rely on Precision Aviation Group as a worldwide leading rotor and fixed-wing MRO provider. PAG provides tip-to-tail solutions in 4 MRO segments: avionics, components, engines, and manufacturing DER services. A single point of contact gives you access to over 150 million in inventory, globally 24/7. Just call 800-537-2778. Precision Aviation Group. Others sell parts. We sell support.
all right, we're at DECERT doing the Fallen Brothers workout. Who are they for?
For Lehman, George, Skimmon, and Keynes.
Fucking right, getting it done. Look at these boys.
Yeah.
Crushing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Absolutely crushing it. Happy to be a part of this crew right now, man. Nice job, Brett. Well done, brother.